Well, good evening to everyone. My name is Jana Helstein. I'm a genetic genealogist. I am my family's historian, and I'm the founder of DNA at Eye Level. I'm going to start right off with a question. When is the worst time to have an outbreak of a cold? I'll tell you. It's 2 hours before you have a live presentation. So if I have a sneeze here and there, please bear with me. Anyway, my journey into genealogy started with a personal search. First, mainly preserving family history before, during, and after the Holocaust. And then, you know what happens when you start digging. You dig deep enough, you'll hit a mystery. So that happened. And then I was touched by DNA, again, for personal reasons. And before I knew it, I was hooked on genealogy and DNA. And after a short while, I realized that, well, not that I found my calling, but rather my calling found me. And I love learning. I love experimenting. So when AI was introduced into the world, I have been experimenting with various tools for some time. And I was super excited when MyHeritage started introducing features based on AI. And it was lovely to see I don't know if you've seen the recent documentary made about MyHeritage, celebrating the 20th anniversary. Gilad Jeffet, who is the founder of MyHeritage, says when he talks about the time when he started the company 20 years back, and he said, my vision was to use the technology of tomorrow to research the past. And I thought it was so beautiful because that's what he did. And MyHeritage never stopped for 1 minute. And it can be so beneficial to anyone, whether you're just getting into genealogy and need help to kickstart your genealogy adventure, or if you're a pro trying to break through a brick wall of an existing research. And it's not for nothing that MyHeritage is recognized as a top player of worldwide in online genealogy and DNA testing. And I think it's mainly because MyHeritage isn't just about building family trees. They always come up with something new and more exciting and more compelling, kind of fueling our journey of self-discovery and using cutting-edge technology and groundbreaking innovations to do that. And although each tool can be used as a standalone tool, the beautiful part is the synergy, the fact that one tool serves the other. And so when artificial intelligence, AI, is introduced, I know that AI or artificial intelligence might sound a bit scary and confusing. MyHeritage makes it really easy to use and very, very friendly. But today, I want to focus on major 3 AI, what I call power tools. And there's a plus. And I'm actually going to start with the plus, because the plus is the photo tools. And they are the plus because they add great value to everything that we do. So I really wanted to touch upon those. They make everything, I don't know, kind of look much better. And all of the tools together make you better storytellers and better presenters of your family history and legacy. Now, here is how you get to the plus, the photo tools. On your MyHeritage site, on the top bar, you see the photos. When you click on that, you see My Photos. And that brings you to your media library. By the way, if you uploaded photos to your MyHeritage site, you have a media library. And you can choose a photo from your library, or you can just upload a photo from your computer. And you can see the photo that I chose. And I'll introduce him to you. Now, this is Harry. And I chose Harry for this presentation. His name is Harry Isaacs, and he is my son's grandfather on their father's side. And I chose him for this presentation because I love his story. I really admire him. And I just think that he is so great. Harry was born in South Africa. He was a boxer. In fact, I found out that he won the bronze medal for the South African boxing team in the 1928 Olympic Games in Amsterdam. And this is the photo that I love the most. Now, it's okay, but can you see the scratches on the photo? I wanted to get rid of those. So I used the repair tool. This was the first one that I used to get rid of all the scratches. And then I looked at it and I thought, well, it's still a bit kind of blurry. So I used the second tool, the enhance tool. Well, I'm still on the same page, and that made the photo more focused and smooth. And by the way, it works equally well on both black and white photos and photos that were originally taken in color way back. And since this one is black and white, still on the same page, I click on colorize to bring Harry to life. And it takes seconds. Now here, the AI technology behind it, behind the photo tools, it determines whether the photo is black and white or was originally taken in color. So if the photo is considered black and white, it will be colorized. And if it were originally taken in color, then its colors will be restored. So it works best on old colored photo. I mean, better than, let's say, photos that were taken in color by a digital camera. Now, I know that black and white photos have their charm, and some people prefer it. But I also think that there's nothing like color to bring our ancestors to life, make them real. Now, it's really important to remember that your original photo remains intact. You will be able to see the before and after, and all the AI tools that I mentioned, the repair, the enhance, the color, they create copies of the original. And so for transparency, you will see an icon at the bottom left corner of the image indicating that the photo was improved and is not the original. So now you can choose to do different things. You can choose to download, and then you can, if you don't have the original for some reason on your computer, download the original, but you can also separately download the improved photo, and you can even download a comparison, just for fun, or maybe to send your family to show them the before and after. Now, the sequence, the one that I showed you, was my process working with Harry's photo. But because these technologies complement one another, the results will be the same regardless of which action you complete first. So the order of these actions doesn't really matter. And of course, you're welcome to try it. You can try these tools for yourself. The first few photos will be for free if you don't have a subscription, but you would need a complete subscription plan for unlimited use. And if, for whatever reason, you decide that you want to delete the photo, you want to remove it from your site, you click on the three dots, and from the delete, again, you can choose. You can choose to delete just the improved photo, and then the original will remain on your family tree. But then you can choose to remove the original photo as well. The one thing you need to remember is that if you remove the original, of course, the improved images will be deleted. And because they are based and they're just a copy. Now, the fourth photo tool that you can use, and notice I'm still on the same page, is the animate. Now, for this tool, I chose a different ancestor. And I chose a different ancestor that is very dear to me. And I was, I just really wanted to share this with you. Now, this is Hasia. She is my dad's biological mother. My dad found out about her when he was 16 years old. Yeah, that was a blow in and of itself. Finding out at the age of 16 that the mother who raised you is not your biological mother, and that you are in fact not a Christian, but Jewish. And this photo was all my dad had. No information about her family, no information about her. My grandfather refused to talk about her. And in 2016, after extensive research, just before my father's 69th birthday, I found her family in Boston, and I watched the magic of reunion. I was very fortunate to give my dad this gift of closure. So when this tool was launched, this was the first photo I tried it on. And I sent it to my dad. I sent this short video. Just watch the tool bring her to life. I have never seen my dad cry so hard. It's been, years, and I'm still emotional when I talk about it. So you can see why I chose this animated photo to share with you. And it was a very emotional moment for the both of us. So these extra AI tools, that I find them very helpful. And here's another tip. Try using the repair and enhance on images of documents. It might help you decipher more data once the image is clear and enhanced. So this is the plus part, and let's move to our first AI tool. And this is the AI Record Finder. The AI Record Finder was launched by MyHeritage in December 2023, and it's basically your personal virtual assistant. And it has one goal: finding all the records available through MyHeritage for the ancestor you are researching. So to get to the AI Record Finder, you log on to your MyHeritage site, and on the top bar, you click on Research, and the drop-down menu, you click on the AI Record Finder. This is the page you land on. Now, you might have tried ChatGPT or other AI tools, and you realize that you need to know how to talk to ChatGPT, know how to ask the questions to get optimal results, especially if you're just starting your research. And that is very challenging. So here's the greatest advantage working with the AI record finder. Like I said, it's your virtual assistant. If you're Sherlock Holmes, this is your Dr. Watson. You chat with it in a simple and straightforward language. No fancy prompts needed. No coding needed. No special wording. And you even get a choice of conversational style, and formal being the default, but you can choose the casual as well. So let's say I'm starting my research on Harry, and all I know is Harry's name, Harry Isaacs. I simply put it into the AI record finder. It's a general request, simple language, and I asked the AI record finder, find information about Harry Isaacs. I got loads. Well, Harry Isaacs is not a rare name. And of course, if I have nothing but the name, the AI record finder will pull up records on Harry Isaacs, the one I'm looking for, as well as other Harry Isaacs. So what's my next step? The nice thing about it, you don't need to figure it out, because the AI record finder, your virtual assistant, helps you with the next step. It gives you suggestions, asks you questions, and it says to refine the search results, please provide additional details such as birth or death dates, locations, names of close relatives, or specific record types. It gives you suggestions of what you should be looking for in order to refine your research. Now, in my case, let's say I know Harry's country of birth, just that. So I add that to my next request. Find more information about Harry Isaacs, born in South Africa. Once I did that, it reduced significantly the records that are not relevant to the Harry Isaacs I'm looking for. So see how even knowing the place of birth of your ancestor can already sift through the records that your assistant pulled up. And the records are varied. They are family trees, but not just. Like I received records of famous people and biographical summary and so much more. Now, you have to remember that information that is not searchable through the MyHeritage search engine due to privacy reasons, like living people, will not be available through the record finder either. So with that additional information, my assistant gives me a summary of what I already have. It tells me, based on the research so far, Harry Isaacs was born in 1908, Gauteng, South Africa, his father's name, his mother's name, his siblings, and it gives me further suggestions of what I should be looking for next. To further narrow down the search, you could provide additional details such as specific life events, names of close relatives, because you see how it gives you suggestions and ideas of what extra information would narrow down the search, and with each record that you find, you can extract more data. Now, if you take a look on the left, this is your chat history panel. And I find this to be another great feature, and it's within the AI record finder, and it enables you to resume previous chats. Previous chats meaning previous searches. So you can work on one ancestor and then for whatever reason switch to someone else. How many times did that happen to us? But this way, we are not losing any previous searches because we can go back and we can pick up where we left off. Even if you're done for the day, you log out. As soon as you go on to the AI record finder, you will have all the history chat, all the history searches populated on the left side of the panel. And if you want to start a new search, you just go to new chat. New chat means new search. So if you are done with that ancestor, and let's say you have all the information you need, you don't want that in your chat, in your panel. So you can look for that ancestor that you want to sort of get rid of. Sounds not very nice, but let's say you don't want that ancestor to be in your to-do list. So you just hover over it and you see the trash can, you click on the trash can and it's gone. Another thing that is good to remember is that all chat sessions are automatically deleted after 6 months for privacy reasons. So let's see what happens if I find a record that I'm interested in, like this one. So you can deep dive into each and every record that is presented to you. You click on View Full Record. And this is just a preview, but I can see here Harry Isaacs, I can see South Africa, and I'm thinking, yeah, I'm interested to see what's in that record. Just a side note, you will see the option here of creating the AI biography. And I'll talk about it later in this presentation. But for now, let's go on with the record. And to see the full record, I just click on Open Full Record Page. And here I have it, all the information, all the data that's inside that record. And you also have links, and we know how important those are. And we can click on the link, we can go to the source, and we can evaluate the data that we find there and decide for ourselves if we like it or not. So the AI Record Finder is a great tool for beginners, but it can also be used by experienced genealogists to validate the records that they may have already found in their research. So let's say I'm good with the record, I like what I see, I checked it out and it's legit. The next great feature is the fact that you can save the record directly to your ancestor. So you click on Save Record, and then you type the name of your ancestor, and that's it. The record is attached to your ancestor. Very quickly, very simply. Now, one thing I would recommend is not only saving the record, but go over it, extract the data from that record, and add the data to your ancestor's profile. Of course, after you verify it and you're confident enough to add the data, and you will see how it will serve you later in the next tool. And here's another tip. While I was going over the different trees, and I gotta say, this is sort of like looking from a different perspective, if you will. As I was researching for Harry's information, I came across several family trees. And I went through them, opening and viewing each and every one of them. And I reached a point where I got the feeling that the information was repetitive. And there was no new information that was popping out. And that's where I found that my interest kind of shifted. So I scrolled down to one of the records, one of the trees, and I found this site manager. This woman called Miriam. I have no idea who she is. And by shift of interest, I mean that I wasn't interested in the information she had on Harry, but rather curious to find out why she added Harry to her tree. So see how I switched from the what to the who, why, and how. I wanted to know, who is this person? I wanted to know, why is Harry in her tree? And how is she related to Harry? So first, I tried to go and see the profile and maybe see the tree, but the tree was private. My next step is contact the site manager. And that's a big part of research. That's a part of being a proactive genealogist, because that's what it is, collaboration, interacting with other people who are interested in genealogy and family history. Now, they might be genealogists per se, but maybe that's one person who has a relatively small tree, but your ancestor is in it. And maybe they have information that can push your tree one generation back. Like, how amazing would that be? Or maybe they have photos of your ancestors that they will be willing to share. And I found out that in many cases, collaboration might be the key to successfully solving family mysteries. So this is our first tool, the AI record finder. So let's move to our second one, the AI biographer. This tool as well was launched in December 2023. And before we get into the tool, there's a question of why write a biography? Well, it gives us great summary of our ancestors' life, and this is a great way to see all the accumulated data that you have on your ancestor in one place. And it's also fun to share with your family members. And I also found that when I have all the data in front of me, it actually helps me see what I'm missing and maybe decide to go back to the AI record finder and look for more records. But once you save all the records and the data, I can't stress enough how important it is to extract the data and put it into your ancestor's profile. So now you have all that information, and it's time to write your ancestor's story. And when we want to present our ancestor's story, we often find ourselves staring at a blank page, wondering how and where to start. So with the AI biographer does the work for you. And with a single click, it automatically compiles a Wikipedia-style biography article about your ancestor's life. So I mentioned previously that, remember when we were going through the AI record finder, that you have the option of creating a biography when you click on one of the records. My recommendation is using the AI biography tool from within your tree, from your ancestor's profile. So how would you do that? You would go back to your family tree, you will search for the ancestor, and when you click on the ancestor, you'll see the panel popping up on your left side. And you'll see all the data, everything you have saved to that profile, and you'll see the option of create AI biography. Now, if you get to this stage when it says create AI biography, but it's disabled, consider a few things. First of all, it might be that you're trying to create a biography for a living person. And so that will not be available. That will not be, you can't create a biography about a living person as the same way you cannot see living people when you go to someone else's tree. So privacy reasons. Now, if there's not enough data for that ancestor to create the biography, it will disable this option. So what do? You go back to the AI record finder to find more information. And as I recommended, extract the data and put it into the profile of your ancestor. And if you know that that ancestor is deceased, maybe you forgot to indicate that he is deceased, he or she are deceased on that profile. So check that as well. So when you click on the AI biography, you have two options, two possible versions to choose from. You have the standard, and that is using only the information that you have on your tree for that ancestor. The second option is the enhanced, which I highly recommend because it results in a much richer biography where the tool looks into historical events and the history of the period in time when your ancestor lived. And those historical events will be incorporated, kind of weaved into the biography of your ancestor. So once you choose the biography, the kind of biography you want, you will get a notice that the AI biographer is working on it. And you'll get a notice in your email. So you don't have to sit around waiting for it. You can, I don't know, go on with your research or just take a break and make yourself a cup of coffee or tea. And of course, remember that the email it will be sent to is the one that you used to register to MyHeritage. And once the biography is ready, this is the email that you will receive. The AI biography, in my case of Harry Isaacs, is ready. And you will have the biography attached in a PDF form. So what does the biography include? Well, it includes the name, of course, and the photo. Now, one thing here, the photo is the photo that you have for your ancestor's profile. Now, if you want a different photo to appear on the biography, make sure you switch those before you create the biography. And then you'll have the basic information, if it's available. The birth and the death. In Harry's case, I have his parents, I have his siblings, his spouse, and his children. And then we move on to the biography. Now, the biography is written in a narrative form. And the footnotes that you see, well, you'll see their purpose shortly. The biography is actually extracting information from your ancestor's profile. And that is why I recommended extracting the data from the record into the profile of your ancestor, not just saving the record to the profile. And because the more data that you have, the more elaborate the biography will be. Next will be shown images. The AI biographer shows up to 6 images that you have saved to your ancestor's profile. And here again, if you have images of that ancestor or images that belong to that period and you want to have them in the biography, make sure you save it to your ancestors profile before you create the biography. And it's also another reason that I recommended creating the biography from the tree profile and not the AI record finder, because images saved to your ancestors profile will show when you create the biography from the tree, but will not show when you create the biography from the AI record finder. And images are a great way to create a biography that is personalized and vivid and rich. So in Harry's case, since I chose the enhanced version, you can see how history and Harry's biography are combined together, like in these examples. What was it like when Harry was a child? So 6 years, he was born 6 years after the Second Boer War, which is, it tells me what the situation was like, or what happened, what was it like when Harry married Judith. And it's funny because whenever the times I rehearsed, every time I rehearsed, it came out like when Harry met Sally, but no, in this case, it's when Harry married Judith. And it says that the world was experiencing an interwar period characterized by economic depression and political instability. And we can imagine this newlywed couple and what they had to endure and what was around them, what was the situation. And it gives you a much vivid, picture that you can imagine of your ancestors. And what happened when Harry passed away? By the time Harry Isaac's death in 1961, South Africa was deeply entrenched in the apartheid era. So again, I can imagine not just Harry's funeral, but what was going on around him in his community and around the people that loved him. So the next thing that you will see is last name origins, of course, if that is available. And that will be followed by consistency issues. And any mismatches that you might have are listed in the consistency issues. Because you know what? Even experienced researchers can make typo mistakes. And this is a great tool that double checks the data that we have entered. And anything that doesn't fit Harry's biography and timeline will be flagged in the consistency issues. And the biography concludes with citations. And those link to the footnotes that we saw in the text. And these are clickable links. And you know how important those are. Because like I said, we want to see where the information came from. We want to go and view the information, assess the information ourselves, and decide whether we think it's reliable or not. And it will be at the end, right at the bottom of the biography, for transparency purposes. You'll have a statement that says that this biography was created by MyHeritage using AI. So once you created a biography from the tree, the AI biography is added to the profile as a media item, and it's tagged with your ancestor's name. So when I go to Harry and I click View AI Biography, I can scroll down and see the whole biography, as well as I can see that Harry is tagged into this biography. So currently, you can create one biography per person, but I read that MyHeritage is working on enabling a new biography anytime new information about the ancestor is added. So you will be in the future able to regenerate an updated biography for any ancestor. And if you have a MyHeritage Complete plan, like all the others, you can enjoy this tool with unlimited use, and your use will be unlimited if you want to try it for free. But again, you can try it for free. So this is our second tool in the power of 3. And these two connect to our third tool in the power of 3. Oh, I forgot to also show you that this, when you add the biography, when the biography is added to the profile, you can also find it in your media items. And you just go to your media library, you click on albums, and right at the top, you'll find AI biographies, and you will have the biographies that you created right in this panel. So we go on to the third tool. And oh my God, I can talk about Deep Story forever. There is so much to say about it. And this tool was launched by MyHeritage in March of 2022. And it takes the animation that we saw in the beginning of this presentation to a whole new level. In addition to the animation, it gives your ancestor a voice. And Deep Story is a tool that creates a video of your ancestor telling his or her story in first person. Now imagine for a minute, all your family is gathering, children and grandchildren, siblings and nieces and nephews, and you're about to sit down to have a family dinner, and everybody's gathered in the living room, and you just pause for 1 minute and you show them a video. You can show them a video about their great-grandfather, telling them about a ring that has been in the family for years, or maybe their great-grandmother, telling them about how she met their great-grandfather. It could be the great-uncle, telling them about how a family pub started, or how about your grandmother giving instructions on how to prepare the famous family turkey for Thanksgiving. Deep Story is an exciting way to share your ancestors' life with your family, and even more so, getting the younger generation excited. Guys, this is so difficult to get the younger generation involved today in genealogy. And what better way to catch the attention of the younger generation than using a platform that they are familiar with, artificial intelligence. And one video can bring them closer and more involved and interested in the family history than any story, any family tree, or any presentation you bring before them. So as we are following Harry's story, what are the things that I needed to make sure that I had? I made sure that I verified all the data, and I inserted all the data into his profile. I made sure that I chose the enhanced biography because I wanted this biography to be rich and to have a lot of information that I can choose when I make my video. And of course, the photo tools that are always, always handy. And everything I repaired, enhanced, and maybe colorized, the plus is what it is. It takes everything plus. So to get the deep story, again, log on to your MyHeritage site and you go to Photos. In the drop-down menu, you click on Deep Story. And then you just follow the simple instructions by MyHeritage. You just fill in the details all the way to this page. And from now on, you get chapters of Harry's story. And this is where you use the biography that was created by the AI biographer. The way it was written, the information that was given there, the parts where they meshed together the biography with the context of the historical events. First thing you do is you choose a voice. And Deep Story currently supports 152 different voices in 31 languages. I gotta admit, most variations and options that you have are in English. You have different dialects, you have different accents. And of course, for Harry being from South Africa, I chose Johannes, that has a South African accent. And the default language for your video will be the site that the language that your site is set to. So if you want the video to be in a different language, you have to make sure that you change the language on your site. You get to choose the introduction, and you can make that according to the context of your story. And maybe the video is about the life story, but maybe it's an anecdote, or maybe it's about a specific experience. You choose the introduction according to that. And then you start using the AI biography and the biography that was created for you, because it's a ready-made text. And the only thing you need to change is from third person to first person. So you still have a lot of artistic freedom. You can still make it personal, you make it your own, but it gets you beyond the most difficult part of writing. Start staring at a new page and starting from scratch. So see how my first chapter, of course, I started with Harry introducing himself. I was born January 26, 1908 in Johannesburg, Gauteng, South Africa. And here, where I took information from the biography. I was born into a world in transition, the conclusion of the Second World War. And then when Harry talks about his wife, he says, my wife, Judith, came from Estonia. When we married in 1936, times were hard. We faced economic depression and political instability. So it's information that is reliable because it's historical content, and it's Harry telling you, or telling your family, or your ancestor telling your family about what was going on in his personal life, but also in his surroundings, in his community, in his country.
Hello, I'm Harry Isaacs. Let me tell you how a personal victory became a national one. I was born in Johannesburg, South Africa in 1909. Grew up in Jeppe, which was one of the poorer parts of Johannesburg. I was one of 7 children. My brothers and I learned to box to defend ourselves against anti-Semitic taunts by other children. But this is not a sad story. I went on to become an amateur boxer and won many local tournaments. I got to be a member of the South African Olympic team in 1928. So proud to bring home the bronze medal. One of 3 that the South African team won that year. I felt like I won for my country, my community, my family, and yes, for myself too. So many articles were written about that fight. I am humbled that I am included in the International Jewish Sports Hall of Fame. This is only part of my story, and my legacy for generations to come.
I created this video because I wanted to tell my boys about a victory of Harry. I wanted them to show I wanted to show them how personal, I don't know, when things are, the fact that Harry was born in a difficult period in time, and I wanted to show them how something that was born out of necessity in difficult reality was turned by Harry to something that is positive and impactful. And because I wasn't sure I could show this video, I'll tell you, Harry is telling my boys about him becoming a boxer and the fact that he learned boxing in order to defend himself. He was taunted and harassed for being Jewish, and he felt that he needed a way to defend himself. So difficult reality, but Harry turned it into a positive. He became an amateur boxer. He won tournaments. He was part of the South African team that went to the Olympics. He won the bronze medal. And today he's included in the Hall of Fame of boxing. And so much positive came out of that. Later on, Harry was working with unprivileged teenagers, teaching them to box, but actually it wasn't for the sake of boxing. It was teaching them discipline, teaching them values, and helping them boost their self-esteem. So again, showing them how something that was born out of necessity and difficult reality was turned into positive and impact, and having a great impact in Harry's life, in the life of people in his community. And I thought that was very important because it's still relevant. It's still relevant to us, to our children, to show them how our ancestors took in stride the difficulties that they had to endure and what they made of it. Now, this was 1 minute video, and I also created videos of 5, 10, and even 15 minutes. But best was the 1 minute videos. And I actually created a library of videos, kind of, I don't know, maybe my legacy for future generations. And you can do that as well. You create a library of short videos. And one evening, you can just combine all of them into a family documentary. But it's your ancestors that are telling their story. The only limit to the various deep stories that you can make is your own imagination. Now, in the handout, I added a link where you can download a detailed guide that I prepared, taking you step by step with instructions and screenshots and lots of tips of the various stories that you can create with the deep story. And I also added a link to my webinar on family legacy webinars that is dedicated to deep story and all the wonderful ways that you can use it. And if AI is what you're interested in, and you can go and AI, whether it's on MyHeritage or generally, I recommend you going to the MyHeritage wiki, and there you will find an article by Thomas McEntee, and I included a link to that in your handout. So this is it. This is the power of 3. You start with the AI record finder, and you gather all the information, and you gather all the records, and that takes you to the AI biographer, where it takes all the information that you gathered and it creates a beautiful narrative of your ancestor's life. And then you take that and you use it in your AI deep story. and you create a video of your ancestor telling his story in first person. And don't forget the plus. There's images, photos of our ancestors. It's a plus. Wherever you go, it's a plus. And this is it. This is telling your family story with the MyHeritage AI features. And this is the MyHeritage AI experience. And I hope you liked it. And I want to thank you. Thank you for taking this time to be with me. Thank you for taking this time to let me share what I love doing most and share my stories, share my personal experiences. And I hope that benefited and inspired you to go and try the different tools, try creating the videos, and make stuff your own. So thank you so much.